Hi guys, and welcome to a general ramble where I've got no clue what I'm going to be talking about because, as per usual, I don't have a script. But it's actually worse than that because I don't even have a post-it note with a handy list of subjects on it either. Yeah, living dangerously. Walk on the wild side. I've been on leave this week. Had to, really. It was a case of use it or lose it. I did have some things planned, but didn't quite go as expected, so I wound up doing other things instead. You know what nature's like. It abhors a vacuum, and if there's any free time, it'll find a way to fill it. As you can probably see, some of that was filled with painting. And, as you can probably guess, I got more paint on me than I did on the walls. Actually, I got some paint on the carpet as well. I'll find out tomorrow when the carpet's dried whether it's come out or not. If it hasn't, I'll be in the doghouse for a week. The kind of week that could potentially last a whole month. Or even a year if I'm really unlucky. Yeah, but it was good to get it done. I mean, it's always difficult to crack open that paint tin, lay out all the dust sheets and get stuck in, but it's quite rewarding when it's done. I actually got to see a little bit of TV for once. Because I haven't been doing the commute, my time zones have sort of shifted a bit. And every now and then, although I'm not an avid TV watcher, if I happen to be making a cup of tea and Mum's watching something that attracts me, then I'll go in and watch it for a bit. And this time it was actually the voice of Billy Connolly. And he's got this program, I think it's called Tracks Across America or something. And this particular section was actually very interesting. He'd hit Birmingham, Alabama, and he was talking with some of the children who were involved in the Birmingham Children's Crusade back in 1963. And yeah, it was quite a moving account as they were telling what happened over those days and weeks that they were actually kept in detention, really. It was pretty much one of the more important things that was said was how this and many other things are still in living memory. And that's a realization that I only came to after I was pretty much, it was pointed out to me, but I think it was Brian J. 1962 that pointed out to me some years ago, through YouTube arguments that so much of this stuff is still ongoing, and many of these things will probably still be running even when I'm, translated to a puff of smoke and a pile of ashes. Yeah, even women not being able to vote in the UK is still within living memory. So much has changed and continues to change. Boy, am I tired. I should have made a cup of coffee instead of a cup of tea. When you do take a week's leave, it takes most of the week to actually begin to unwind. And just as you unwind, you're then winding yourself up again to return to work. Yeah, not funny. Here, the internet has changed from Eclipse to PlusNet. So the fixed IP has changed. I've told a few people already, but if I've missed you for some reason and you're accessing the services here, give me a nudge, I'll get you the new IP. Not that much is actually active. The Minecraft server, the vanilla one, which was running on Spigot, 1.8.9. I had a crack at upping it to Spigot 1.9.2. A chunk of the mods I managed to find the updated versions for, but one important one, which is WorldGuard, failed. Long story short, I wound up running it back to 1.8.9, but that wasn't before I tried Forge 1.9, but the kind of mods that I need don't seem to be there. So I fired off some queries in some support forums for the kind of things that I'm running on Bukkit, and that I want equivalents of in Forge. Some of the mods are not actually, that are out there, are not actually listed, so I'm reliant on people actually making suggestions as alternatives for these mods. There are some libraries of mods, but if you search them, not all the mods are in it, and some of the names that you search by don't actually accurately reflect what the mods do. It's really, really awkward, but there you go. So I had to wind the server back to 1.8.9. Yeah, the servers were all changed around. I think I did that quite earlier on. Running quite well. I think there's a home for one of the machines, so that's boxed, ready to go in a case, and there's 2 cases which I might take with me in a few months to see if anybody wants one of them. Yeah, so some of the floor space is taken in here, but yeah, there's a lot of adjustment and it's pretty much all done now. Managed to do the Ducky Zero keyboard, get the LEDs permanently on that now survive a switch between KVM. Emboldened like that because there was a Perix keyboard before I wound up with the Duckies, and that was pretty much the same thing. There was a gaming button, and you hit the button to bring the LEDs up, and when you switched they went off again. You had to hit the button again. But that was an RGB unit. But somehow managed to overcome, and that's now working. Permanently blue LED facing. So that's pretty cool. Took a bit of doing, but there you go. Also been out for some short walks. Nothing too major, just local parks, and just to get out of the house, really. What else have I done? Bits and pieces. A friend had a copy of a relative who's not with us anymore, who played an instrument and had an audio tape, so I've now translated that to a CD and chopped it all up into separate tracks, so that works now. The internet side, I actually had a phone call from Eclipse. That was after I sent a letter to the chief exec and Ofcom. Well, the primary letter was to Ofcom, and with a copy sent to the chief exec of Eclipse. I am getting something back from that. The ultimate thing is they say that lessons will be learnt, where there are lessons to be learnt, I think. But you never know with corporations. I mean, the ultimate thing, it reached the head where after spending all that money and all that time, I said, okay, I'll stump up the 200 quid. And even then they wouldn't call OpenReach. It's taken a while to get PlusNet up and running. But the log files are churning away, and we will no doubt see in due course what's going on. I fully expect the fault to still be here, so it's probably going to still be a few more days before the fault rears its ugly head, and then I can go back to them and to give them the whole history of everything. There was also another aspect that was fired at Eclipse, which was the need for a rain check. That's REIN if you look it up. It basically involves using an AM radio to try and find devices which are causing interference. You know, one of the things in the letter to Ofcom that I said, it's absolutely crazy asking the average consumer to carry out one of these checks. You know, first off, they've got to buy an AM radio. How many of us have AM radios anymore knocking around? And B, they've got to know what they're doing. And, you know, well, it's sort of hissing. Absolute waste of time. So, if you remember from 2 years ago, I had problems with PlusNet, which is why I switched to Eclipse in the first place. But we'll see what happens. I think from what I've been reading, a few things have changed on the PlusNet side of things, hopefully for the better. The link is supposed to be unlimited, and from what I've learnt, from what I'm reading, is there doesn't actually seem to be a reasonableness limit, so I should be able to upload YouTube videos with no real concern. However, because the speeds are still quite low, I'm still going to have to do it overnight. Oh joy. What else has been going on? There's been bits and pieces in the going on in the IT sphere. Microsoft is actually taking the US government to court over the court orders forcing it to keep government requests for information secret. So that was an interesting one. There was another issue with Apple and the time thing, the 1970 thing. Apparently it's vulnerable to an NTP issue even after the update. Yeah, like, when's that going to happen? Who's going to manage to attack you with an NTP packet? It's one thing knowing the flaw exists, it's another somebody exploiting it in the wild. There's a few more bits and pieces that have probably arrived at work while I've been off at home. And I'm hoping that the cable has arrived for the Western Digital Pi drive. We'll see how far that goes. A few more other bits and pieces. A replacement chair for this one. This one doesn't have that much in the way of back support. There's no lumbar support really to speak of, and there's no head support either. So we'll see. A chunk of the recommendations that I've been getting for things have actually been from other people and friends, and that is where I get a chunk of the suggestions from, and also some of the things that people are commenting in YouTube. Oh, pardon me. There should be another mouse waiting for me. What someone said about a particular mouse, it's in a comment somewhere. Sorry. I got one of them. It's on its way, so I'm going to see what it's like, because one of the mice over there, there's effectively, with the KVM now, there is a blank area. In other words, a blank set of connections. There's 3 servers and 1 set of tails, which is going to no machine now. So I want to up the mouse that's on there, which is just a general one. I've upped the keyboard, the Perix is on there, and now I want to up the mouse. So yeah, that'll happen in due course. What else? I got my P60 just sitting there, which is my end of year tax certificate. So I'm just waiting now for the usual notice from Her Majesty's Customs and Excise, or whatever they're called now, because I think there's been a department split, not slip. Oh. And then it's going to be yet another tax return. Yeah. What else has happened? Been watching a few videos. People have been coming up with some very interesting stuff, and thank you very much for some of the helpful comments that were left on some of the videos, which gave me some pointers on some of the bits and pieces that I've been doing. Whoops. Nearly lost my feet on there. Yeah, so there is going to be some hardware waiting for me. I'm going to have to catch up on a few bits and pieces. Some of the reviews that I've been doing aren't really, I wouldn't class them as full reviews, pretty much because there's quite a lot of reviews out there already. However, I do note that some of them have been, it's good that that people are actually running disclaimers on some of the things, which are pretty useful. I've subscribed to some channels. Linus Tech Tips is quite a good one. I may unsubscribe from it because it's not really 100% relevant to me. I mean, he's recently been looking at, they looked at cameras for under $1,000, and there was no mention of the Pentax KS2 in there, which is actually a pretty good camera for the money now. So yeah, it was pretty obvious which way they were going. Yeah, trying to start up, trying to do a video like that, which was short, it was less than 7 minutes, and cover a good range of cameras. It's not actually going to cover the range of cameras, it's just going to cover the range of what they're using, really. And I think that they should have at least looked into one camera from each of the major manufacturers. Unfortunately, Pentax is one of those camera systems which gets looked over by the likes of, people tend to look at Sony, Canon, Nikon, obviously. Fuji is getting a look in these days. But it totally stuns me that Pentax, with the innovation that's coming out of them, their history, and their innovations throughout the years, they just get completely, repeatedly overlooked, and I just cannot fathom why. Because they're churning out some damn good equipment at good value. But yeah, so he also did one on they looked at the Samsung S7. I'm not exactly in the market for another phone. There was a pretty good one on chip repair. There was one on in-ear Bluetooth. I just don't find myself really engaging with a lot of stuff that's being put out there. So what I'll probably do is unsubscribe and just drop by now and then. The Dash, that was it. The Dash, wireless earphones that almost didn't suck. And yeah, probably unsubscribe from that one at some point. There's been other things happening, but generally it's been good just to get to catch up on stuff, to catch up on tech, to be able to spend time with a soldering iron and a magnifying glass these days, because even those things, by the time I get home from work and all the rest of it, I just don't want to. I haven't got the time or the inclination. But it was actually quite good to do it. Unfortunately, Germaine Greer wound up in the headlines again. She's just repeating the same things. And it's really disappointing to see her, having fought for so many decades, falling back, but basically battling stereotypes, smashing her head against stereotypes to along with many others, of course. And then she's relying on those very stereotypes to justify her position. And it's a pretty disappointing thing to see. But there you go. What else is going on? There's been some some very good feedback on some of the questions that are being asked. Some YouTubers are starting to ask some really interesting questions on various bits and pieces. I don't take part in them all because in some of them I'm not really part of those communities. But there you go. I haven't really made much of an impact in my to be read pile. Done a bit of photography on just some small stuff, and now it's a case of just sitting back, waiting for the whole carpet to dry and see how much paint is left. Oh dear. Yeah. There was another very interesting TV program. It's currently on, and they're looking at prolonging life, how to live longer, and they're going into the science of a lot of this stuff. But it seems to be a mixture of keeping reasonably fit, no need to go utterly overboard, but just to keep some fitness. And I think that the 3 times a week brisk walk that I'm doing at lunchtime will do that for me, and also keeping the mind active. And the other thing that was interesting is that when you come to physical activity, if you keep doing the same physical activity, your body gets used to doing it, so it doesn't yield the same sort of results that it used to. And it's pretty much the same with the mind. If you just keep doing the same old puzzles and the same old tasks time after time, your mind will just get used to doing them. And so the key thing is to do something different. Learn an instrument, learn another language, and just keep your mind active all the time. And that seems to be, I think it was Angela Rippon that was actually presenting it. And when her brain was under test, she actually did very well for her age. And I think that's because of the time that she spent in journalism, covering all sorts of different pieces and learning and that sort of thing, and not staying on the same subject. Whereas for many of us, we're typically holding down the same job, in the same career, meeting the same people. Okay, there's some slightly different challenges going on, but we're in the same sphere. And, it looks like doing that as a major thing. There was something else, which was the injection of, the study is still going. It's hardly really got off its feet yet, but injecting the blood from someone young into someone who's old and seeing what that does to the brain cells, and apparently it does work. But obviously there's groups going on. There was also a thing about the onset of dementia and education when young. And there was actually a group of, I forget how many nuns, was it 600 or 6,000 or something like that, and these nuns have been tracked, and they've even donated their brains to the cause of science. And they drew a very interesting link between how the nuns were writing and the descriptive flow against the chance of onset of dementia, Alzheimer's. You can tell I'm tired. And I wonder if I can find something out about this quickly. Whoops. Yep. Nuns offer clues to Alzheimer's and aging. Yeah, the convent of the School Sisters of Notre Dame preaches peacefully. Within its thick red brick walls are bright paintings of nuns and children, etc., etc. For 15 years, elderly Catholic nuns here have had their genes analysed and balance and strength measured. They've been tested on how many words they can remember minutes after reading them on flashcards, how many animals they can name in a minute, and whether they can count coins correctly, and all the rest of it. It's very interesting. Yeah, and yeah, it's incredible stuff as we learn more about our brains and ourselves, and all this learning goes on. I think I've already said enough in other videos about learning, the breaking the gender binaries, and finding out more about ourselves and how and why we tick the way we do. Whether I am fearful because what science is putting forward, what we are discovering about ourselves, flies in the face of so much established, or rather deep-rooted, because a lot of this stuff is still relatively recent. It flies in the face of rooted, stereotypical assumptions which we've used to underpin our lives, and it's not going to be easy for society to take that information and move forward, because it means leaving behind some pretty major foundations which have ultimately proven to be relatively shaky, but that doesn't stop people from relying on them. Oh boy. And I think I'm going to have to call it a night there. I'm going to convert this, set it up loading, and hit bed and see what happens. See how long it is before it goes up. So, night night folks. Take care, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.